Okay, so today I want to talk to you about the reptilians. I went through the Akashic Field to get some more information on the reptilians because it's been coming up for me more and more, for me to understand really what's going on. So I forgot about this. I went through the Akashic a couple of weeks ago and I forgot about it because I didn't think I had all the information. But just this morning, I was asked to release what I know and let the people that want more information to investigate on their own. So I'm just going to give you what I found. I don't think everything is here because there were some things that even in the Akashic Field, my level of consciousness couldn't really put together because it was very crazy information. So let me start with the reptilians, what I saw. So I saw that these people, the reptilians that we know as negative, are very alpha male characteristics. The typical alpha male archetype from the reptilian is very, obviously very dominating. Everything has to be done their way, and is very alpha in the sense that it is their way or their highway, where the female reptilian is more submissive to what the male archetype is. So they are, it seems that they are more submissive to whoever their alpha is. What I saw and what they explained is that every one of us has a seed of the reptilian brain inside of us. Because we have the entire cosmos inside of us, we also have a piece of the features of the reptilian brain inside of us. And I think I haven't done any research to find out if this is true. But if you do find something, please put it in the comments so we all can benefit from it. I'm just taking the information here from the Akashic, so I am not going to research in order for me to put this video together. I'm just passing on what I receive. And you will be surprised at the end because it's crazy information. Anyways, so I was told that we all have a seed of the reptilian brain inside of us. This reptilian brain inside of us is switched on whenever we need to either fight, when we have to fight, when we get aggressive, when we get angry, is flipped on. It's almost like a switch. It is the first brain that we tend to use when we're not in alignment. So it makes sense that because we're part of source, so therefore we have everything inside of us. And if we have the entire cosmos inside of us, that means that we also have the reptilian inside of us. The reptilian, I was shown that the reptilians have always been here on planet Earth. They were even here when the Atlanteans were here, because apparently the Atlanteans asked them to be part of some experiments. They were trying to figure out how to regrow limbs, because one of the things that in the cosmos that the reptilian are known for is that they have the abilities to shape shift and to regrow limbs. So it's something that a lot of other beings wanted to know how they do that. And because of that, it was almost like if you wanted to learn that, you're going to go after the reptilian to be able to work with them, study them, analyze them, and figure out how to do it for the beings that were coming to them, whoever it was. I don't know why I was getting, and I don't even want to say it because I don't want to get so many negative comments, but I even saw some Pleiadians at one point working with the reptilians. So I'm not sure. Like I say, a lot of information wasn't given to me because I was almost refusing the information because I couldn't believe it. But I don't know if, it could have been another type of being. I don't know. There's so many parallel realities, so many dimensions. Who knows? Maybe it was a different type of Pleiadian. Who knows? I don't know. So I was shown that the Atlanteans were working with the reptilians because they wanted to know how to rebuild, because they were also working on creating their own, even though they had a lot of spiritual influences, because they understood crystals, they understood plants, they understood energy. what they wanted to do as well was to create some sort of army, but also to be able to rebuild limbs from doing experiments that were very, where people volunteered to be able to cut one part of themselves in order to rebuild it. And not always it was very successful. So, who knows what's going on. But I was also shown that the reptilians when everything was created, when Source decided to split into many, 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 many different type of beings, many, many different type of galaxies, the reptilians was one of them. That's why we have the Dracos constellation. But the characteristics of being a reptilian was to understand greed and to understand how to overcome it. So it was a characteristics that they were going to work in their lifetime to overcome greed, to overcome an insatiable need to control things, to be aggressive. So a lot of the reptilians eventually were able to overcome the need to control and the need and this greed, desire that they had inside of them. So some of the reptilians understood that and overcame those challenges, life challenges. So they understood the polarities because they came from a very aggressive, you can say, lifestyle. But it's also important for us to understand that the reptilians that I'm talking about, the ones that look like bee lickers, like alligators, those reptilians were not the only one. We also have the reptilians that are known to be master healers. These reptilians are like the snake, the dragons, the dragonflies, the different type of reptilians. They show me 23 type. And I couldn't see all of them, obviously, because, I wasn't there long enough to see all of it. But they did show me the number 2, 3 together. And when I asked, like, how many are they? Because we have the dragons, we have the snake, we have so many ones that I can recognize, but they show me there are 23 different archetypes of the reptilian. And the one that most people concentrate on is the reptilian that they can stand on 2 feet and look like alligators on their faces. They look like alligators. They're very strong. They're alpha. They're in the military. That's what they do. They control and they have a need for power. But that's not the case for all of them. Some of them have overcome that because they have understood the process of ascension and they understand the process that if there is bad, there is also good. Just like humans, we have good humans and we have bad humans. It's all in the way that we use our desire to express ourselves here in this life, right? Somehow they were also showing me the Anunnakis. I don't know enough about the Anunnakis to say anything besides the fact that if you want to research it more, you should, because there is something major there. They showed me that several times and I just couldn't piece the information together because I'm like, tell me exactly what's going on, and they wouldn't. So it's something to do with greed and power and a major destruction, and then different light beings came to reestablish order and reestablish this planet after a major destruction that had to do with the reptilians and something to do with the Anunnakis. So at the same time, I was shown, and this is when it gets really crazy, because I was shown that at one point I felt like crying because I'm like, no, every reptilian wants to be like that. And it's almost like they're being controlled, like something is controlling them. And I was shown a vision of a group of reptilian women with their kids. And I felt like crying because I like, these people are peaceful. They want peace. They want harmony, but it's almost like they have to hide from the rest of the cosmos because most beings don't understand throughout the planet, the galaxy and the cosmos, that they're good reptilians and everybody gets classified as one. So it's very, wow, it was very intense. Very intense, because I just felt like crying. But also I was shown that sometimes for us to understand how does it feel to be a narcissist, how does it feel to be bipolar, we bring in more of the reptilian brain here. And that's when you have the split and the person becomes two different people in one lifetime, because they are bringing in energy. And it could be imprinted. If they're not reptilian, it could be something like, almost like, because we live in the matrix, so it's almost like they put a chip. When you come here, you want to experience the pain of being bipolar, so you get imprinted with the memories of a reptilian being, so you can understand how does it feel to be two people in one, or how does it feel to be a narcissist, how does it feel to deal with anger issues. It's like anything that you want to work on this lifetime, you might get imprinted with those memories. And in this case, it will be the reptilian if you're coming to be a narcissist, or a very aggressive person, or bipolar, having bipolar challenges, because it's almost like you have to overcome that. But if you give in, you really spend the whole life going through how does it feel to be that person. But you can overcome it. That's the thing, that you can overcome. You have control at the end of the day to hope and overcome it. I was also shown that the military leaders, the Dracos, the military leaders that are the reptilian ones that we know that can be very scary and they're very negative. These beings were not like that before. They had a regular existence. They showed me before they were standing on 2 feet, that these beings were just reptilians. They had the animal characteristics, but something outside of them came to influence their evolution and was able to help them stand on their feet and give them the ability to take their initial imprint of learning how to deal with greed and control to the next level. So they became military leaders for other beings that were traveling the cosmos and they needed protection. But when it gets crazy is what do they need protection from? Because if we know the reptilians to be the ultimate dangerous beings out there, the people that help them stand on their 2 feet, those beings, what were they afraid of? Because they also show me a very smoky energy, smoky with tones of red, dark red, that went into the reptilians that were in a spaceship traveling to other places. And this energy came through and almost took possession of these reptilians, because they didn't have really, they were almost like machine-like. They didn't really have full control of, it's almost like they were soulless, like they didn't really have a soul to the level that was able to discern energy. They just took orders, if that makes any sense. Because they the way that they went through their ascension process was almost like an outside influence that came over to help them become leaders, military leaders, but they took orders. So it's almost like having a machine that takes an order. And when this smoky energy went inside of them, then something major happened, and it flipped. Something flipped and was able to, it's almost like an obsession with control and greed, but they're being manipulated, being controlled by something outside of them. And I don't know what that is. This is to the next level, because I didn't expect to find any of this information. And the reason why I think Spirit wanted me to find out more about this is so I can stop associating every dark energy as a reptilian energy, because I had that perception inside of me, which is now completely different, because now I went through the Akashic and saw things that I didn't understand before. So the Draconians, the Dracos constellation has also, the Tuvan constellation has other star, the Tuvan star, where the dragons come from, and the snakes. The snake and the dragon sometimes are associated with one and the same. And in some places you will even see that they show me that in some ancient history, you see the snake being ascended, and when it comes ascended, it becomes a dragon. And I don't know much about that, to be honest, so you're gonna have to research that. But the way that they show me that is that they have been, the dragons and the snake have been in our right here on earth from the beginning of time to teach us that there is more to life. They teach us the spiritual aspects of life. But when the reptilians came, they wanted control and greed, but it was for somebody else. The other being that they showed me was a very large being, like a male energy being, and it was huge, and it looked like a god. And it's like this god wanted control of something, and somehow was able to influence the energy that went inside of the reptilians that became the military leaders, because he was trying to create an army. And I'm like, what is going on? Because this is crazy. So anyways, you're going to have to research all of this. I was shown something to do with the Orion constellation. I don't know anything about Orions yet, so I'm going to have to research that and go into the Akashic to learn more in the future. But I think what they wanted me to focus on is to make sure that you understand, not all reptilians are bad. Not all reptilians want control. Not all reptilians are here to hurt us. And in fact, there are a lot of reptilians right here now on Earth that are here to help the Earth with the ascension process. So yes, they're bad reptilians, just like they're bad humans, but they're also good reptilians that are here to help the planet evolve to the next level. So then I went back into the Akashic Field just to get more information, just in case I missed something important. And this is when they show me a big lizard being chained up to be modified. So it's almost like some other race came through and modified the reptilian that we know to be bad. Something happened, and I don't know, maybe in the future I'll get more information, but something definitely happened. This is no normal. It's almost like they got infected, but it was almost like with like after the first group got infected, then the other ones were chained up to be modified somehow. So it's almost like something major happened that most people don't even know about. And this is crazy because another thing that they show me is that the reptilians, the reptilians were not the only bad ones. There were beings that look very different, that were also, just like in this planet we have good people and bad people, in other planets, in other dimensions, in other parallel lives, we have beings that are different, that are not reptilian, and they could be very dangerous. I was shown also a blue being with yellow, orange and black stripes, and a tail that looked like a monkey. And this being was very, very bad. Like, this thing wanted to hurt people. Like, that's all he wanted to do, regardless of who he was. And it was a very weird feeling seeing this thing, because it was full of anger inside. Like, something inside of him just wanted to be able to hurt other beings. And this being was traveling from one almost like one dimension to another, or one planet to another, just for the purpose of hurting beings throughout. So it's not just the reptilians. The reptilians just have a bad rap because they are the main ones that have been known to us here on Earth. But there's much more that we don't even know about. And the more you go into the Akashic, the more you can pull information. And I was also shown that, like when you really go through the Akashic Field, you're grabbing information and you're filtering the information. So remember that everything that I say, anything you say, anything anybody says, is being filtered through your own level of consciousness. So some of this information may be very basic for you. For some of you, might be way over your head, and it's okay. Just take what resonates, leave the rest. I think the whole point of this Akashic reading was to not reading, but really just going into the Akashic to grab information to understand, because I had this one-sided view about the reptilian, and I wanted to understand really what's going on, and that's why they show me all of this. So remember to take what resonates and do your own investigation. Go to the Akashic Field yourself and try to pull information yourself, because that's really how you're going to get the information that is most relevant to you. So I'm going to leave it there, and I'll see you guys on the next one.